Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Polio Jr. And in today's video, I just wanted to discuss uh, the differences between Uber and Lyft. And this is all going to be from my personal experience. You may have had completely different experiences as far as being a driver or being a passenger. And so I wrote a couple things down. Just gonna make this as as candid as possible. So, uh, the first thing I wanted to go into is I started with Lyft uh, quite a few months ago now. After driving with Amazon, decided to pick up an extra side gig and do Lyft. And from the beginning, uh, the the ease of use as far as Lyft is concerned was extreme. It was extremely easy as far as using the actual app itself, dealing with the majority of people and so forth. I'll go down a couple of things here I have on my list. Um, so let me start off with we're just going to do a Lyft versus Uber here. So as far as pay goes, the pay is approximately the same as a driver. So first we're going to talk about being a driver. So regardless of how far the trip is and so forth, as a driver, you're getting paid about the same. The payout is once a week. The only thing is, in my experience, tips are better with Lyft than Uber. And the only reason I'd ever tried to even do um, Uber was to try and get a sign-on bonus. And then when I actually did sign up via a link with a sign-on bonus, I didn't have anything saying that that was, on my agenda, on my itinerary, like you're this far away from getting your sign-on bonus and so forth, where Lyft said, hey, you're X amount of rides away from your, $700 bonus and so forth. Um, do, do, do. So, the and as far as either one of them, in my experience, um, Lyft or Uber are approximately the same as far as um, how busy you're going to be. So it's not like you're using one app and that one you're just running around all the time and it's just super busy and great. They're both on even level playing fields as far as that goes. Uh, the biggest thing um, is obviously you want to get to the passenger uh, as quickly and safely as possible. And the luckily, uh, Lyft has integrated Google Maps into the app with its navigation system. So, and when you pull up to somebody, when you're getting close to the address or whatever it is, you will actually see the person, approximately where the person is, with their cell phone. So you're getting, as you pull into the, uh, wherever it is, a shopping center, the address, you can actually see their little icon walking, moving closer to your car or you moving closer to them. So, which is very beneficial, especially if you get some oddball type type pickups, which I have had, and that was the case with Uber, where I did have a kind of an oddball pickup. It was the address, but they were in some weird back, uh, uh, like behind like two separate buildings and things like that, where Google will tell you to go left, right, and you're right there with Lyft. Um, Using the Uber navigation system is just like using like a Garmin from 10 years ago. It's just like, okay, here's the address, and there you go, and call them if you got to find them, and so forth. So, where Lyft will bring you directly to them. And even in the Uber app, it brings you to, for the driver, it brings you to you can use, it'll let you use the Google Maps, but it still doesn't bring you directly to where they are. So it's just like to the address that they put in, and that's it. So, like I said, it's like a Garmin from 10 years ago. But Anyway, moving forward here, as far as let's see here. Yes, the interface on Lyft is super simple. I really wasn't digging the Uber interface as much. And then just as far, and then you also have what's called a destination mode where you can set your, wherever you're at, and then you're heading towards you want to go back home now or wherever you want to go. So in Lyft you have an unlimited amount of times you can hit that destination mode. With Uber, you can only do it twice a day. So, which there's been quite a few times where I've done it 5, 6, 7 times a day using the destination mode, saying, okay, I want to go to my house, and then I'll pick people up along the way. And I can do that an unlimited amount of times through Lyft, where I can only do it twice through Uber. And then this is just generally speaking, as far as a driver, the passengers, and that this is I obviously can't speak for everybody, but in general, the people that I have been picking up since I started doing Lyft have been um, a lot much more easygoing, easy to get along with, more respectful of the vehicle and so forth. Not slamming doors and all that fun stuff, trying to eat in your car. Whereas the Uber, and like I said, this is generally speaking, this is the majority. Um, this is the majority of my experience. Is that the people who would get into my car uh, with Uber were it felt more as if they were treating it like a cab ride. So the personal experience that you would get from maybe a conversation and so forth, and not everybody wants to have a conversation, and that's fine, that's perfectly okay. Um, but it was definitely treated more like a cab ride. You know, oh, here's my stuff. I'm throwing it in the back. I'm gonna put on my earphones and just get me to where I'm going. I don't want to talk to you, man. That's supposed to just drive me to where I'm supposed to go, and that's it. And then just the whole human interaction is taken out of it. So, and like I said, that is not everybody, but that was more of the general vibe uh, that I got from driving for Uber. Uh, so there's definitely a higher tier of quality using Lyft as far as the driver is concerned, as far as driving is concerned for Lyft. Sorry, that was a little redundant. Um, and then on the reverse side of that, using when I did use, and sometimes I still do every once in a while, I will only take Lyft as a passenger. Uh, I don't see a huge difference in the prices. They have that thing on Uber where they can drop you off at like a certain spot, and yeah, it's cheaper, but it's less convenient. The Lyft, uh, so Lyft shared, it's called Lyft shared now versus Uber pool. It's a little bit less expensive, but regardless, in general, when you're getting into a Lyft, the cars are um, almost all the time really, really clean. A lot more amenities as far as like having water, gum, and charger readily available. Whereas I was getting into Ubers where it looked like the side of the car was kicked in, and they just have other things going on. They would even have a um, somebody in the car with them that obviously was not part of the Uber because it's like it was like a family member or something like that just hanging out up front. So but and they generally weren't very talkative either. So and like I said, not I don't need everybody to be talkative and so forth. Just you know, um, and not that I can expect anything from anybody, but it's just nice to have that you know that that human interaction and that conversation and so forth, getting to know somebody, even if it's just for a short trip. And somebody actually mentioned to me in a Lyft, a passenger, he said, you never know like what you're going to pick up from somebody, from basically from anybody, but when you're picking up people all day or for a certain period of time, um, you never know. Like maybe you could catch a stock tip, you find um, something that you never really knew before, whatever the case may be, even if it's like a life lesson or something like that. So it's always nice, speaking uh, to individuals. And so as a passenger, um, I really got the same vibe as I did driving for Uber. It was like very standoffish kind of thing. It was like, okay, I'm only here to drive you from A to B, and that's it. And Lyft was, hey, help yourself to this. Is the temperature okay? Are you comfortable? All that good stuff, making sure that everything was okay. So that my ride was as comfortable as possible, and that's what I try to do for every passenger. Like I feel like my passengers are my babies, regardless if they want to talk or not. You know, I am responsible for these other souls that get into my that get into my vehicle. So, um, but yeah, so just in general, the vibe of the Uber, whether being a driver or a passenger, is very standoffish. And then the vibe as being, a driver or a passenger for Lyft was just on the next level. And why that is, I'm not 100% sure. I have tons of ideas of why that service is like that, but I would personally never use Uber again. And so, even though they're advertising like crazy, um, it seems like an oversaturated kind of like just cab company now. That's all. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like you have this personal service like you do with Lyft. Like I feel like Lyft, you're getting this extra tier, this extra like this premium service, but like, opposed to Lyft, where it's just um, like a cab ride. You might as well have a window between us and be done with it. So I mean, if that's what you want, go for it. But passenger wise, you know, I haven't seen a huge difference in price as far when I was still taking Uber and Lyft. There wasn't a huge difference, and even if it was a little bit more, I would still always take Lyft, no matter what. So, just for the convenience of it and the drivers being a little bit more relaxed for the most part. And I'll say it once again: I can't speak for everybody, but this was just my general experience so far. So I'm staying with Lyft. My Uber account is deleted and gone, both of them, as far as the driver and the passenger apps. I'm completely off of Uber and just doing, I only take Lyft and I only drive for Lyft. So, but yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. I mean, I could have just made a 2-second video and just said, "Hey, take Lyft. It's a lot better," and that's it. And so, generally speaking, uh, Lyft drivers are more accommodating, more sociable than um, than Uber than the Uber drivers. I'm not talking about every single driver. I'm saying in general. So. Um, but that's really all I have today. I just kind of wanted to go over that for whatever reason. So, but yeah, in general, if you're going to drive for one, don't drive for both. Just drive for Lyft. It's not going to be you're not going to have the significant difference as far as getting getting rides and so forth. So I wouldn't worry about getting rides. There's plenty of people that are switching over from Uber to Lyft, and there's just always going to be rides, regardless of where you are. Obviously, if you're in a metropolitan area, you're going to get more rides than a rural area. But still, I would still highly recommend Lyft over Uber any day of the week. So simply put, the navigation's easier. Uh, not a big difference in the price. More accommodating, more friendly, and yeah, just an overall better experience as far as driving for Lyft or being a passenger in Lyft. So thank you very much for watching. Do not forget to tip your drivers, because it is it's always beneficial. So, and now, having been driving for Lyft and so forth, I've definitely noticed, what a difference that it does make. So, even if it's just $1 through the app, so. Because a lot of the Lyft drivers I've seen really go out of their way to accommodate you, so in every way that they can. So thank you very much for watching. That's I think that's all I have. I don't know. I'm just kind of just dicking around here. So I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.